Hello everybody, welcome back to Word Salad. This is part 5 of our series on prophesying versus prophet lying. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool concept. This is really where I start, where I think we can all of a sudden, you're going to get to a point where you can maybe start to step out a little bit with some confidence and do a little bit of prophesying. I'm going to, in future sessions, I'm probably going to describe to you my process for what I call getting in touch with prophetic glimpses. I think this is a relatively safe form of prophecy. I'm going to talk about the dangers of prophecy later, but let's get into this right now. We're going to start with the definition of something called intuition. Intuition. The definition of intuition, according to Merriam-Webster, a quick, ready insight, immediate apprehension or cognition, knowledge or conviction gained by intuition. The power or faculty of attaining to direct knowledge or cognition without evident rational thought and inference. Now, I believe that this is a very important concept when understanding how the prophetic really works, the actual meat and bones of it. People, without much study, a person can step into and try their hand at prophesying, and really, I believe, get it right without being of messing up, without screwing it up. I'm not saying that prophecy needs to be complicated or hard to do, or take years and years and years of study before you can do it at all, but I am saying that in this day and age, it is easy to get off track, and getting off track is always cut from the same cloth. I'll get into that later. So let me focus on this concept of intuition so that you can start to feel confident about prophesying. So here we're going to get into Acts chapter 10 verse 9. On the morrow they sent, as they went their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the sixth hour. So Peter was praying. He was getting in touch with the Spirit of God. He was getting into the Spirit of God, worshiping the Lord and praying. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance. Pretty cool. We had spoken in a previous lesson about Balaam, how Balaam went into a trance, having his eyes open and being able to see and experience the Lord. So let's look at real quick what this word trance means. So ecstasis. So from a root word, I'm not going to go into the root word, a displacement of the mind, i.e. bewilderment, ecstasy, be amazed, amazement, astonishment, trance. So again, it's a word derived from another word in another language. But if you kind of start to get the feeling of this word, it just means one way I might paraphrase it is you get more in tune with your intuition. You let go, and you get into this dreamlike stupor where your subconscious really activates the thing inside of you that connects with intuition, connects with deep spiritual insight, and really can touch the prophetic, can touch the spirit realm. That part of you becomes more active. You become loose and lax, so to speak, in your logic, the logic centers of your soul, of your brain, and you come into a trance, so to speak, a stupor, away. And it says here, and he saw heaven opened, a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, as the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted within himself, now while Peter doubted within himself what the vision which he had seen should mean, behold, men which were sent from Cornelius made inquiry of Simon's house and stood before the gate. So there's these two words. One is trance, and one is doubt. So to doubt means to consider and to weigh your options and to not make a choice based on working things out in a logical sense. Whereas that term trance means really to become in tune with a dreamlike state, wherein you're not doubting, you're not holding back, and you are allowing something to flow into you. What's implied here is that he didn't really. Oh, well, actually, let me point this out too. So it doesn't really seem to imply that he's just waiting and just fell asleep. What's really being implied here is that he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance. So it could be that he was on a fast and he was up praying, and nobody really knows how long. It doesn't really say how long he was praying up there, but he could very well have been praying so long and not having eaten for so long that he really was in this state where he's far more likely to just kind of pop into the dreamlike state. And I've had some people who say to me that, or you kind of get the impression or the assumption that a vision, a supernatural prophetic dream from God is not the same thing as a supernatural prophetic vision from God is not the same thing as having a dream or going asleep and seeing a dream. But remember that Joseph said, "Do not all dreams belong to God." So dreams are connecting with the spirit realm in a good sense or in a bad sense. When you dream, you are connecting with your spiritual intuition, oftentimes about your life and what's important to you. But in a bigger sense, it can connect to the fate of the world, as what happened with Joseph. He was anointed with a very particular task. He believed in his dream, and he eventually became second command over all the known world of their civilization. So that came to him through a dream. And for you to say that dreams are not supernatural, again, I really don't like that word. You see how trying to use the word supernatural and thinking you need to draw a distinction between natural and supernatural doesn't really benefit you in any way, understanding the things of God. There must be a real way in which you actually connect with the prophetic or connect with the spirit realm, because how else are you going to live your life? You must be connected to God. So it happens through your soul, through your body, through your spirit. Body, soul, and spirit in the Hebrew concepts are not, there's not a division. Again, there's no division between body, soul, and spirit in the Hebrew concepts of the word. That's really a more Western concept. I'll talk on that concept in another video. But look, you are a being created by God who can speak to God. Just get over it. One of the ways that you do it is through your dreams. One of the ways you can connect to the spirit realm is by going into a trance, and to receive of the prophetic by becoming used to or familiar with going into a trance. Look at Balaam. It says that Balaam was a prophet. He was used to, and actually by his own will, by his own choice, and by his own volition, became familiar with going into a spiritual trance and connecting with the prophetic. It says he took up his parable. That's what it says about Balaam. He did it by his own will. So this is not that complicated when you really just simplify it and you get over this need for there to be some kind of line or distinction between natural and supernatural. That when you just connect with the dreamlike part of you, the intuitive part of you, and the less logical part of you, and the more just instinctive part of you, that which just flows, then that is how you connect to the spirit that you worship. You can connect to an evil spirit, an ungodly spirit. There were prophets of Baal. There's prophets of false gods. These are real people, and they had real spiritual power. How else could the magicians of Pharaoh throw their staffs down, and their staffs become snakes, just like Moses did? But the difference, or the distinction, is that our God is vastly mightier than any other false god. Where was I going with this? We're going to have to pick up or continue this lesson in a later thing, but really the only concept I'm trying to outline here is there's this stupor state, this trance-like state, this dream-like state, and there is the doubting state, the logic state, the reasoning state of mind, of being. And understanding those two is critical to being able to shift into the prophetic. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye! How do I stop this thing? Oh yeah.